So Shavyfxhub. So today by 12 the market opens. So we start to share perspective on US30 and we'll share the perspective on BTC and gold. So oftentimes when you hear things like US30, US30, it resonates. The question is, what is US30? In United States, the US30 represents the 30 biggest companies. The US30 is also known as the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's a price-weighted stock market index. It tracks 30 largely publicly traded US companies, and they really move the market. You know, the index includes companies across various sectors from technology, healthcare, finance, consumer goods, energy. Some of the key figures in that heavy index: Apple, $1 trillion company; Microsoft, close to trillion valuation; Nvidia, the powerful chip maker, leading in the chip industry; Johnson and Johnson, very good for household; petrochemicals. We have JP Morgan, the chief financer, chief borrower, very high in liquidity. So you can go on and go on and go on. The list is endless. Now for US30, we want to look at a weekly time frame to see the trend that it shows the state of the growing economy since 2020. The first 30 companies listed in the stock exchange has been growing. This shows a progression in the index. So it serves as a key barometer of the US stock market and its economy, and we are seeing it evident on the chart. So it's also important to know that these companies that are listed here play a vital role, and it gives us a clue into the state of the economy. Now we have price ascending trend line here from our line chart on a weekly time frame, and you can see the structure created by 2020, a heavy drop, bearish drop, and US30 rallied up. And one key area to note in this price action is here. After such a heavy move in the market, there is a breakout structure at this level. So at this level, you can see after price broke out from the supply roof, it came back for retest. And you have seen the US30 head back and continue buying. But at the moment, it faces an immediate supply. It's a make or break situation. So it's very clean as we can see it. So if it manages to break that structure, then it's an opportunity to add more buy position on the retail pullback and continue up. And if price gets there and they fail to break it, then the index could forcefully come down and begin to reverse. But our strategy is not to predict the market. Our strategy is to watch and see what the market has done. And in the course of watching what the market has done, we get a clue, we get a true directional bias. And We also have another structure in this area. And if you have wondered why the US30 have dropped at this area, the reason is not far-fetched. The market is designed to follow market structure. But the question is who understands it? Who traces the structure the way it ought to? Because at the end of the day, everything is following a pattern. Trading is a mathematics of pattern. And spending time on it gives you an edge over those who are more interested in copying trade. I have no problem with copying trades, but copying trade is like one who goes to the university and graduated copying other bright students. Your success will be capped, your progress will be capped, your future directional bias is also capped because of lack of the ability to make a sound financial decision. So it is good while you are copying trade, you develop an independent mindset. That is ability to spot the market and make a decisive trade decision. And that is what makes you a trader. So if you are copying trade, you just bear in mind that you are making temporary progress, but that will not represent a long-term sustainability. So don't be deceived by traders who are showing off. If you have a trading strategy, work on it and make progress gradually. So we're going to look at how the bond yield affect US 30 price movement. The bond yields, particularly US Treasury yields like the 30-year bond yield, influences US 30 price movement because they reflect borrowing cost and investor sentiment about the economy. When bond yield rise, it often signals expectation of higher interest rate and inflation, which can lead to higher discount rates for stocks and thus pressure stock price lower. Conversely, falling bond yields can make stock more attractive, potentially boosting the US 30. So here's what we have, and let's be patient and see. The weekly push for US 30 was very decisive, and let's get back to the chart to see what price has done. So we want to see as the weekly candle. I think the weekly candle will open in a continuous buy. The market will continue to buy, and let's see if I think the right time to trade US30 will be by close of this week. So we need to see the market on a defined directional clue. So if we have the market break the structure, then we hope for a retest and continue to buy. So we watch. So US30, we're going to give it a break and see how the week closes. We'll have to see how this week closes. Then from next week, we're jumping into US30. By then, we'll have a clear directional bias. For now, you cannot tell. The week might open and it start to reverse because there's an immediate supply at this level. There is an immediate supply at this level. So what if the market opens and it starts to respect it? What are you going to do? So at 41, 305.7, that's a supply roof. A broken demand floor is a supply roof. So you need to wait for the market to have a clear and a decisive action. Then you swing into the, you know, and then know what to do. The 30-year bond is the interest rate on US government debt with a 30-year maturity. Each fluctuations are driven by supply and demand, economic outlook, and monetary policy. So let's look at relationship between bond yield and bond and the stock price. Rising bond yield increase borrowing costs and reduce the present value of future corporate earnings, often leading to downward pressure on stock price, including the US30. Falling bond yield lower borrowing costs and increase the attractiveness of stock relative to bonds, often supporting higher stock price. The DXY, that is dollar index, also comes into play. Is a measure of the strength of the US dollar against a basket of other currencies. A stronger dollar DXY can negatively affect multinational companies in the US by reducing overseas earning when converted back to dollar, potentially weighing on the index. Conversely, a weaker dollar can boost earning and support US 30. The US 30 is the Dow Jones Industrial Average, a price weighted index of 30 major US companies. Bond yield, like the 30-year Treasury yield, affect US 30 by influencing interest rates and economic expectation. Higher rates generally pressure stock prices lower, and vice versa. So it's important to know that this interplay between bond yield, currency strength, and US 30 reflects a broader economic condition and investor sentiment. So we're going to stop there and let's wait for, based on our strategy, let's see if we can employ the services of expert advisor, and let's see what clue it provide in a directional bias. And when you employ the EMA on the weekly time frame, and last time I talked about how to use expert advisors on multi-time frame. Now you are looking for confirmation in line with your market structure. And if you look critically, you will see that on weekly time frame, the EMA and the SMA have provided a buy signal on the floor, where we have seen 36.06.3, pick up again, and the Dow index begin to shoot up again after falling since 2024 November. And we have seen that the SMA and the EMA on the weekly time frame, they both provided insight, especially the EMA. The EMA provided insight, 200 EMA. And when price came at that 200 EMA, it coincided with our demand floor, a previous broken supply roof. This was a previous broken supply roof. And then when price returned, it came back here, break of structure, break and retest, and price came here, and we've seen the index move up. So that's what we have for now. And we're going to look at the German 40 to see the state of the German economy. And the German 40 is 40 most traded companies in the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. And we're going to look at it and see what they're doing.